Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle, and today we are going to do some worms, and it is the worm season right now, so what better than to do them now. What we're going to do is I have these lurecraft, I believe these are 8-inch worms, open pour, and all we're going to do is just do a simple pour with a new color. And what I got was, and I've got 4 of these, by the way, 4 of these molds, so we can do 8 at a time. I've got this new MF Earthworm Blue non-bleed, so it's like a pink but has like a blue shimmer to it. I can't wait to try this. I mean, I could see the purple pink in here, and then I could see the blue in the bottom, so I think it's got like a color shift to it. So I can't wait. We're gonna mix this up real good. We're gonna get the color, we're gonna get the plastic heated up, get the color in here, get it degassed, all that happy stuff, and we're gonna go ahead and pour a bunch of these worms. See how many we can get out of a 1.5 cups. So we're gonna do a couple things in this video. New color, worms, and we're gonna see how many worms we can get out of a cup of plastic. It's a 1.5 cups of plastic actually. So let's get things heated up. Let's get started. All right guys, so today we're gonna do these worms, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay these all out, make sure there's nothing in the cavities, make sure they're cleaned out. Looks like there's a little tiny bit of, looks like a big flake in there. I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to see what I can get it out of the plastic. Probably work better. There we go. Big old black flake in there from something else I did before. So I'm just making sure that they're all cleaned out, make sure the cavities are clean, make sure there's no other plastic in there, no other mess. And we're not going to use a griddle at all today. We're just going to go ahead and pour right into all these 8. I'm going to try to get the plastic super hot. And again, we are using the MF Earthworm Blue. Let me see if I can zoom into that a little better so you guys can see it. Earthworm Blue. So it's like a pink purple color, and then it's got a blue shimmer to it. So I think it's got like a color shift. I don't know if you can see that well from there, but it's a pretty cool color. So I'm going to just make sure that this is mixed up really well. We have the plastic heating up in the microwave right now in the initial run. So I've got it in there for about 3 minutes, letting it heat up real good. We'll probably have to take it out and stir it real good. And then we will have to heat it up again probably for a couple minutes just to get it up to temperature, because it's got to get up over 350 so that it gets to that gelling stage so that we can get the plastic where we want it. And then once we get it up to temperature where we want it, we'll mix in the color, and we'll mix it in real good. And then what we'll end up doing is putting it in the degassing chamber just to get the air out of it, because I'm going to introduce moisture putting the colorant in, and I'm going to introduce moisture and air when I stir it. So let's just make sure it's nice and clean. These are open pours, so we want to make sure that there's no air in the baits. Okay, I'm going to keep you guys informed on what's going on here. So after 3 minutes, it is starting to gel, and it's at about 280 for temperature, so we're not quite there yet, but it is starting to gel up. But I want to get a good stir, get everything off the outside, make sure the resin and the plastisol and everything are mixed well together, and then I'm going to put it back in probably about 2 more minutes, because we're not quite there yet. So we just did another 2 minutes. We have a lot of air in there, but let's go ahead and check the temperature now. We're at about 370, which is good. That's where we wanted to get over 350. And I'm going to go ahead and get the outside of the plastic cup. Just make sure that it's all mixed in there. I think we're good. Now I've gone ahead and mixed up this MF color quite a bit so far, but I'm just going to give it a couple extra shakes. And what we're going to do here is we got to take the top off, because the lid, the protection lid's on. There's a brand new color. I've never tried this before. Get rid of that. Put this back on, and we'll go ahead and add the color. I'm going to go ahead and do a big squirt just to get it in there, and I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to put a fair amount in there just to get the color where I want it, because I do want to see that pink, purple, and that blue. So we're not quite there yet, and I'm using quite a bit. I'm going to use quite a bit. This is definitely not in drops. I want to definitely see the color, and I want it to be a dark, deep color. Okay, so I think we're almost there. So that was like 4 or 5 squirts. That was a lot of colorant, but that's okay. I want to see what we can get the thickness up to with this color. All right, so still pretty translucent. I don't know if I should add a base color to that. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it the way it is. I'm going to degas it. And then once we get done degassing it, I will come back and we'll pour one just to see what it looks like. So we have the color degassed. I'm just going to knock down some air bubbles on the top real quick. I'm just going to give it a little spin, and I want you guys to see that color. Look at that. Look at that color shift. That's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pour a couple of these worms, and let's see what the color turns out like. This might be a little bit too translucent for what I like, but I might like it. And I couldn't tell you on these molds which is easier to pour, the tails or the heads first, then the tails. I'm not sure. But let's actually go ahead and do 2 of them. We'll just do a little test here. The bodies are a little bit thicker. So we're going to go ahead and fill these in real good. Okay, so we will go ahead and wait for these to set up, which shouldn't take too long, because again, I'm not using a griddle for these at all. I'm just straight pouring them in because I'm just doing one solid color. And hopefully this is the color I want. Now right now I can see it as it's kind of a light pink, or it's a darker pink up in the body with the blue. I can see it from here. And the tail is really light pink, so that might work out really well. So I might just end up pouring the rest of these in that color. And I'm not going to put any of my extra little droppings back in the cup because I want to just keep heating that up and not have to stir it and put more plastic in. So if I have any extra, I'm just going to kind of put it off to the side for now. So let's see how many worms we can get out of this cup. And I just want to see what one of these worms is going to look like. Oh yeah, so that's awesome. So the color on it is perfect. The blue shimmer is great. It is very translucent, but that's okay. But we get a lot of that blue effect, especially on the rounded part, on the round side. The flat side, not so much. You just see that clear. But with that round part, with that shimmer from the light, man, that's going to be an awesome worm. So we're going to go ahead and say yes to that. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out. I had a little bit of extra bleed over on that one, but we'll just pull it off. And we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead, and I think this plastic's probably still pretty warm. It's a little over 3. I'm just going to go ahead and heat it up just a little bit more. Hotter the better, really, for these, just so then that way it spreads out evenly. So we got 2 worms done now. We are going to see how many we can do out of this group of worms. We can do 8 at a time. hopefully what we can do is just keep pouring through, and then once we get done we can start peeling them out. We'll see how many we can make. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat the plastic up one more time, and we should be about there, pretty close here. And again, I'm using these for personal use. I may give some to some friends or whatever, but I'm not really an open sell kind of guy. I don't have a website or nothing. But if you do want something from me at some point, I will sell certain things. Just give me a call, or not give me a call. Send me a message on Instagram, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And you know, life's busy, got a family and stuff like that too, so I'll try to get your stuff together as quick as I can. If you want something ordered, all right. So we're over 350. We're gonna go ahead and pour. The idea here is not to over pour them, at least not too much. But I don't want to under pour them either. I want a nice bodied worm. I don't want them ripping apart, you know what I'm saying? Okay, there's that one. Over poured the tail just a little bit on that one. Wasn't paying attention. I'm going to go ahead and pour, and we just over poured that body a little bit too. I'm going to go ahead and pour all 8 of these, and then I will off camera do the rest to show you how many 1.5 cups makes. So there's 2. Over poured that a little bit too much. But the good thing is it's pretty easy to clean these up. But the tails are really the important part. That's the tough part to clean up, especially around that little fold right there. That's the part that's kind of tough. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't over pour those too much. Practice makes perfect. I don't do this a lot. I've done it a fair amount of times. But I am very excited that I found out that AI just came out with a bigger worm open pour mold, and I probably will end up getting that at some point here, because that's a really cool looking worm. I'm excited about that. And it's a good price point too. It's very, very cheap. It's like 30 something bucks, 33 bucks for one mold, and I think one mold does 2 worms. So let's go ahead and get these filled up. So I had to add a fair amount of colorant. Just over poured a little bit there because I was talking. But I think this color is going to be really cool. I can't wait to get a bunch of these worms together. So I'm going to go ahead and get this last one done here, and then I'm going to turn off the camera and do the rest off camera. Okay guys, so 1.5 cups of plastic, and I used pretty much the entire container. There's a tiny bit left in there. I might be able to squeeze out one more, but I wasn't going to push it. I pushed it pretty hard as it was. We were able to get 16, 16, 16, and 5. So all together, what is that? 32 and 48 plus 5. So 53 worms. Hopefully I'm doing my math right. But 53 worms out of 1.5 cups of plastic. That is pretty impressive. I didn't think that I was going to be able to get that many worms out of 1.5 cups of plastic. So that's a ton of worms. I mean, 53 worms, that's insane. But the color came out absolutely incredible. I'm just going to pick one of these bunches up so you guys can see the bunch. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so you can see it a little bit better. But that color and that color shift on that earthworm is fantastic. So I can't wait to throw these. I might even throw these next week. So I'm super excited. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I just wanted to show you guys what new color we did the Earthworm non-bleed blue. It's got a color shift in it, and see how many worms we could do open pour, no griddle at all. We're just using straight, just pour into the aluminum molds. These are 8-inch lurecraft curly tail worms. Fantastic molds. Like I said, I've got these 4 and I love these worms. I used them a lot last year. I had a lot of success with these, especially on bass on a Texas rig, and they're just outstanding. I love these molds. But I will look into the AI molds. They have that new 10-inch mold, which I'm really excited about, so I'll probably be getting that and featuring that in a video at some point soon too. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We did a bunch of the 8-inch lurecraft curly tail worms, and I have 4 of those molds, and we did the MF Earthworm color, and we made a ton of Earthworm color worms. And again, we got 53 worms out of that entire bunch. That is a ton of worms. This is just 16. What an astronomical amount of worms you can make out of one. I think it's a 1.5 cups of plastic is what I used, and it's kind of a medium blend, so it'll hold up a little bit better. But what a great, I honestly never tried to do a 1.5 cups of plastic, see how many open pour worms I could get out of one, so we figured that out today. Great new color, MF, that Earthworm color. I mean, it's probably been out for a while, but it's new to me. I really appreciate y'all watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, keep on baiting.